Welcome to Occupy Dallas TV. And we are here to combat racism once again.
Like the down there, like the lobby area, that's a really nice, cool lobby area.
Beautiful original City Hall building. Wonder where they got that idea. Everything in our experience so far is like the perfect servant of Satan. Putting children in cages. Really? So we threw him a protest. This is what has come down and become of the mighty tribe. Putting children in cages. Like a close ringtail. I got a white trust issue right now. Thank you. They're protesting them putting them kids in cages. Guess who next? When they get through with Mexicans, guess who next?
Hello. Yeah, we got it! We got style! Okay, take time different.
Alright.
Okay, thank you all so much again for being here. Now, can you hear me in the back? So, let me go ahead and open up the agenda so that we can see who's the first person up. But it's extremely powerful to see all of you guys here. We don't know each other, but we know why we're here. We know that we're here because of these children that are being separated at the border. One thing that I have been saying is that 4 days ago, the United Nations actually informed the U.S. government that what they're doing is against international law. So our country, the United States government, on behalf of we the people, on behalf of all of us that are here and everyone that's around us in the United States, has intentionally been breaking the law, international law, which should never happen. Never. 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 So we'll have a number of different speakers. The first one is Marcela Evans here. Yes. So Marcela Evans is an attorney for children's programs. She's from the North Texas Human Rights Initiative. She's a wonderful organization.
Good afternoon. My name is Marcela Evans. Yo voy a la escuela abogada de Estados Unidos. Una agencia que proveemos servicios legales gratis para inmigración aquí en Dallas para personas que han sobrevivido a abusos de derechos humanos. We are a free legal service normally those laws, normally the children that we work with in the detention centers have been historically children who came to the United States without their parents. What we have seen recently is that now we are seeing children who've been separated from their moms and dads. That is not who these laws were intended to serve, and that is not right. So, while I talk about laws that are in place that were to protect children who came alone, and we fully support those laws, we do not support the fact that children are being separated from their parents now. Through lawsuits and through statutes, children who come to the United States are supposed to be children who come to the United States without a parent are supposed to be protected by put it in populations of only children and not adults. This is not true for children who come with their parents. These children who come without their parents are supposed to be provided with the access to legal counsel and for the ability to fight for their cases in the United States. But what we see with the kids who come and have been separated from their parents, what those children want is to be back with their family, and they don't necessarily care what it means about their legal case. So what we have are kids who've been taken from their parents and forced to go through the process with immigration by themselves and without their mom or dad. That to us is something that is completely and utterly inhumane. So, I think something else that some of you may have heard is some of the idea that separating the parents and the children is for the protection of the children because they're being trafficked or because there were kids who are lost in the system, they're being smuggled in by their parents. Now, what we work with many times is what we see in this detention center.
Like the Handmaid's Tale, get the kids.
Have traveled either with or without their
kids
parents.
have disappeared.
Violence, who are fleeing terrors that nobody would want to stay in. So the question is, do you think that really this parent traveling with their child or these children traveling by themselves, running away from certain death, is that actually, if that parent takes care of that child and subjects them to a journey from the terror to the United States, is that really bad? We don't think it is. It's a necessary option. It's a necessary action. It is not an option. Thank you all for your time, and pass on to the next speaker.
Watch the flowers! Stepping all over the flowers!
So the next person that's coming up right now to speak is Reverend Aaron White. So sorry.
Hola, tenemos palabras en español también, lo siento, no está perfecto, pero estoy mejorando un poco, ¿sí? Bienvenidos a todos y gracias por estar aquí esta noche para alzar nuestras voces. Soy el reverendo Aaron White y soy uno de los ministros de la primera iglesia unitaria aquí en Dallas. Esta noche traigo saludos de nuestras comunidades de fe. Las antiguas escrituras sagradas del mundo no siempre concuerdan. Sin embargo, un lugar en el que están de acuerdo es cuidado de los refugiados, de los que sufren y de los inmigrantes. Es un requisito de las personas de fe y conciencia. ¿Cómo podemos estar en este lugar y llamarnos una nación? Quizás lo más doloroso que se puede hacer a una persona es alejar a sus hijos de ellos. Y sin embargo, miles de familias, padres y hijos están siendo separados por nuestro gobierno, precisamente en el momento en el que llegan a nuestras fronteras escapando violencia, buscando una vida mejor. para sus familias. Si tu corazón está roto esta noche, si estás enojado por las imágenes que has visto, algo está funcionando en ti. Así que vamos a trabajar. En el pedestal de nuestra estatua de libertad están las palabras: dame a tus cansados, a tus pobres. Y sin embargo, nosotros de valores familiares arrancamos a los niños de los brazos de sus madres, no solamente como personas de fe, sino como personas de cualquier con la más básica decencia. Decimos hoy: no más. No más.
No más.
Aceptaremos nada menos que el alto inmediato y completo de esta política aterradora. No en nuestro nombre. No más.
No más.
Sí, mis amigos, ahora es el momento para orar, sí. Pero no solamente nuestras oraciones privadas. Ahora es el momento para oraciones públicas. También es el momento orar con nuestros brazos y piernas, con nuestros votos, hasta que las acciones de nuestro país coincidan con nuestros valores más profundos. Hagamos justicia, amemos la amabilidad y caminemos con humildad con nuestro Dios. Que podamos ser perdonados por las atrocidades cometidas en nuestro nombre y que se detengan en este momento. No más.
No más.
Thank you for being here tonight. I'm Reverend Aaron White from the First Unitarian Church of Dallas, and I bring greetings from our communities of faith. The ancient Holy Scriptures do not always agree. However, one place where they do agree, one place where they are absolutely clear, my friends, is that all people of conscience are called to protect the vulnerable, care for the suffering, and welcome the immigrant. This is a requirement of people of faith and conscience. How can we be at this moment and call ourselves a nation? Perhaps the most painful thing we can do to another human being is to tear their child from their arms. And still, thousands of families, parents and children, are separated by our government at precisely the moment in which they seek shelter in our borders, where they seek protection from violence or a better life for their families. If your heart is broken tonight, if you are nauseous from the images that you have seen, something is working in you. And so let us work. At the foundation of the scriptures of the world religions is a call to love the poor and the suffering. At the foundation of our Statue of Liberty, the words read, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." And yet we, of so-called family values, are tearing children from their mother's arms.
No más.
No mas. It is not only as a people of faith, but as anyone with a basic sense of decency that we say no more.
No más.
We will accept nothing less than an immediate halt to this policy of terror. Not in our name, no more.
No more.
So yes, perhaps for people in my position, we would be called to say that this is a time for prayers, but not only private prayers. The prayers that we use in public, the prayers that we do with our arms and our legs and our letters and sitting in at a representative's office and calling them over and over and over again. These are the prayers that we will use when we vote over and over and over again until the values of our country match those of our deepest hearts. My friends, together tonight and all nights, let us do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with our God. May we be forgiven for any atrocities done in our name, and may they happen no more. Thank you all.
So now we have Clay Jenkins.
Everyone, how are y'all doing tonight? Thank y'all so much for you making a a big difference. Look, you got the media out here, and the media will amplify your message. You know, 4 years ago, so they're introducing me as Clay Jenkins because of their 501c3. But my job, my day job, is I'm your Dallas County Judge. Don't worry, I'm not going to say anything political here. But as your Dallas County Judge, 4 years ago, my daughter asked me a very simple question one night. She was watching television. She said, "Daddy, why are the children in jail?" And I gave her an answer about immigration policy. But then my daughter said, and it was about people who cross the border without papers. My daughter said, "But Daddy, these aren't people, these are children." And I knew right then that if I didn't do something to unleash the power of your love to help those children, that was just a lack of political will on my part. And we see the same thing happening now. We see children in a Walmart who have 1 hour a day of PE and 1 hour a day to be outside if they choose to, free time. And this afternoon we hear that they are starting a tent city. And so this evening, my last call was to the ORR, the Office of Refugee Resettlement in Washington, D.C. And my question to them was very simple. If we put the band back together, could you guys use some help? So if we put the band back together in Dallas and we offer to take some kids, could you use some help?
Yes.
And they're in meetings right now to look at that offer. So if we put the band back together, will you help us? I think we can do a better job of taking care of kids here in Dallas than they're doing on the border right now. And no disrespect to the folks at Southwest Keys. No disrespect to anyone. But the reality is an old Walmart is just not an acceptable place to house kids for an average of 49 days that they're there currently. And the way this is moving, the kids that get there today, they'll average over 60 days in that facility. And then these tent cities, you know, it's hot. You think it's hot here, go to South Texas. It's hot, and there's really no way to cool those tents down. So let's do all that we can. What you're doing tonight is amazing. I don't know if ORR is going to, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, is going to have interest in working with us. I hope they will. And then I don't know what the politics of that will be as it moves up the chain to the White House. But if possible, I want us to do all that we can do to welcome some of those kids here and help them, you know, at this very critical time when they either have traveled on their own for 1,000 miles, or they travel with their mom or dad for 1,000 miles and we're separated from them, and they need love. And they're children just like your children and my children. I know you guys know that. But, you know, just imagine for those of you who can hear my voice from Facebook or something, imagine that the roles are reversed and your children travel from Dallas for 1,000 miles to Honduras because things were so bad here in Dallas that it was better for you to have them take that dangerous journey than to stay here. And don't you wish that there were people like these people all around me tonight that were there to fight for your children if things like this were happening when they finally landed in Honduras? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, one announcement. If everyone that's on this platform, if you can see me, everybody that's on this platform, please step off of it and please don't sit on it. The police have asked us to please, this structure that wherever you see me, if you can see me, this structure, no one sit on it, no one stand on it, not even the concrete part. So thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Okay, we can't stand on that, but we have a stage coming on. I do want to do one chant together. It is our duty to fight for these kids. It is our duty to win. We must love them and protect them. We have nothing to lose but their chains. It is our duty to fight for these kids. It is our duty to win. We must love them and protect them. We have nothing to lose but their chains. Thank you, guys. So now we're going to let Peter Joseph come on up. Peter Johnson, I apologize. Here we go.
Thank you so much. They say I can't stand up there. Well, that's what I just told him.
You're not wrong. Turn around toward us.
There we go. Now, first, this is about children. And I've been really wrestling with what to say to you all about children. First is, me and my friends, we're going to Brownsville. And we're going to take black doctors and black dentists with us and demand to see the children, to examine them free at no cost to the government. But we are going to Brownsville. And let me tell you why. During slavery, the American government would take my mama and sell her to Mississippi, take my dad and sell him to Alabama, take my brothers and my sisters and divide us, and we don't know today who our relatives are because of what the government done to our families. Black preachers like me, we have a historical responsibility to say to the United States government, hell no. Hell no! You cannot do this to little children and to women running from danger. Tell you a story about a man and his wife, his pregnant wife, having to get out of town one night. They got some transportation to get them out of town. They got a mule, a donkey. They got out of town because of the dangers in that town, like a family coming from Honduras, saying the gangs are raping my daughters. I'm running from this. This man and his pregnant wife, running from violence and abuse and discrimination. You see, they left their country and came to another country. His name was Joseph. His wife's name was Mary. She gave birth to a little baby named Jesus. Now, there was illegal immigrants in a foreign country, but God watched over them. God expects us to watch over these children. God expects us not to be silent on what's going on. Now that's something I'm going to ask you all to do for me. Take your devices. Look up a letter Coretta King wrote about Jeff Sessions. He may be new to you all, but you see, he ain't new to us. Those of us who worked in Alabama in the Civil Rights Movement, those of us who crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge, we know who Jeff Sessions is. Go get Coretta's letter and read and see who this little racist cracker is. We used to look forward to going to the Justice Department to fight against what was going on in the South. Ain't no more Justice Department. The Justice Department is the Injustice Department. So if you want to help change the challenges that Mr. Trump has put before us, stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves. You know, those of us who went to Selma, we could vote, but the people in Selma couldn't vote. Those of to Birmingham to face police dogs, I had a home, I didn't have to go to Birmingham. Most of y'all got your homes, your families, and your children. God is saying, come to the border and stand up for what's right. Come to Brownsville and tell the world we will not participate in the destruction of families. We will welcome those people who are running from violence and hunger and malnutrition and poverty. We have a moral responsibility. God bless you all.
And now we have Carlos Quintanilla.
Hello, and thank you everyone for coming here tonight on behalf of the children of Casa Padre Brownsville. You all deserve an applause. A couple days ago, we had a rally here to protest the horrific situation that's going on in Brownsville. And one of the first things I said is that America has lost its soul. America has lost its moral compass. It has lost what it wrote in the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution of the United States. America is no longer America where there's equal justice for all. America is not the America where people live with dignity. America is not an America that respects the human rights of immigrants. America cannot be a great America if it treats immigrant children like criminals. America cannot be a great America if it treats immigrants like animals. And so we need to send a message to Donald Trump. We need to send a message to Jeff Sessions. We need to send a message to Governor Abbott. And we need to send a message to the Attorney General of Texas, Paxton, that we are not afraid, that we will organize every second, every minute, every moment to make sure that in November we defeat those who do not believe in democracy and justice and dignity for our children. And we will not stop until the children of Casa Padre are free and liberated, so that they can see the sun, so they can go to McDonald's and get a McChicken, so they can embrace their family with love. And we want to send a message to those children in Casa Padre. Te queremos, estamos contigo, no los vamos a abandonar, vamos a luchar por ustedes. Vamos a defender su futuro. Vamos a defender su dignidad, su paz y tranquilidad. Nosotros no vamos a parar hasta que los niños de Casa Padre estén liberados, y queremos mandar un mensaje a Donald Trump, a Jeff Sessions, a Paxton y a Governor Abbott, que nosotros no vamos a parar. Vamos a continuar luchando hasta que tengan dignidad, respeto y libertad a esos niños de Casa Padre. Que Dios los bendiga y viva el inmigrante.
¡Que queremos!
Freedom for the children. Sorry, everybody. So now we're going to have Edwin Romero from Raíces, North Texas Dream Team.
Don't shout.
Good evening, everyone. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Edwin Romero. Soy miembro del North Texas Dream Team. Buenas tardes a todos. Good evening, everyone. My name is Edwin Romero, a member of the North Texas Dream Team. And before I say anything else, I just want to do something very quickly. I want everyone, this is kind of like to make sure everyone is grounded. I want everyone to close your eyes please do me a favor. Everyone, close your eyes. Try to be as quiet as you can, and just think about your family. Think about your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your uncle, your cousin, your grandpa, your grandma, and think about if, as human, we have to put ourselves in everyone's shoes. So think about how much you love everyone in your family, and think about everything you would do for them. We would give our lives for our families, right? So just think about that, and think about if whatever happens, whatever comes our way, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to give up. You're going to do everything it takes to protect everyone in your family because you love your family. So we have to realize that as human beings, we are all a big family. So we have to do everything that we can to protect our family. And I want you to please join me. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Fighting for our family, we shall not be moved. Fighting for our families, we shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. No, 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 no nos moverán. No, 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 no nos moverán como un árbol firme junto al río. No nos moverán. Peleando por justicia no nos moverán. Luchando por justicia no nos moverán como un árbol firme junto al río. No nos moverán. Like I said, my name is Edwin Romero. I am a native of Morelia, Michoacán, Mexico. And I grew up in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. And why did I grow up here? I grew up here because my mother made the extremely difficult decision to come to a completely different country. She was over 40 years old, and she came to a completely new country because she knew that this country would give me and the rest of her family the opportunities that we did not have in Mexico. So I am a DACA recipient. I am in the fight with so many other people and with all of you for a legislation like the DREAM Act that's going to give us a pathway to citizenship, but we will not accept any legislation that's going to criminalize parents, because that's also separation of family. We will not accept any legislation that's going to say, yes, you can have citizenship, but your mom, your dad has to go back to their country. No, we will not. We will not accept anything like that. And I stand, although I couldn't even imagine being separated from my mother. I was 6 years old when my mother came to this country with her family. I was 6 years old, and I couldn't even imagine being separated from my mom. So I stand in solidarity as a human being, not because I'm related to any of the kids that have been separated from their families. I'm not related by blood, but like I said at the beginning, we are all family. So we all have to put ourselves in that position to realize that what's going on is unjust. So I also want to say one last thing. I know you guys have heard me say before. In 2003, Immigration and Customs Enforcement was created with a lie, saying that they were supposed to protect our community, protect Americans. But all that we've been seeing is ICE terrorizing our communities and separating our families. So tonight we continue, and we will continue fighting and calling for the abolishment of ICE, because it is an agency that should not exist. It has only existed for the past 15 years, so it's something that we do not need, because this country was great before 2003. So, thank you guys. Thank you everyone.
And now, okay, so there's did you want to explain a little bit about it? Here, I'll let you explain.
This cage, and we want to send a message to Fox 4 News, because Fox 4 News has been running stories about a rally that we had, and this was the cage that we had at our rally. And the cage only symbolizes what children are going through in Brownsville, Texas. Obviously, the children in Brownsville, Texas have bigger cages. They have locks and chains. They have security agents watching them. But this is our kind of simulation of what it would be like to have someone incarcerated. And so today we don't have any children in the cage, but rather we have Donald Trump in the cage. And that's what Donald Trump needs to be. He needs to be in a cage with handcuffs, impeached, and sent to jail. Thank you very much. The next speaker.
And now we have Reverend Dr. Jeff Hood.
Woo!
Occasionally, my dress trips me up when I try to get on ledges like this. I want you to know that I don't speak Spanish. But I want to tell you something. I do speak love. I do understand what love looks like in practice. I do understand that keeping children in cages is not love. I brought my son with me today. There's a part of me that wants him to know how lucky he is to not be in one of these cages. But I also want him to know what the gospel looks like, and what it looks like to love your neighbor as you love yourself, and what it means for us to put our bodies on the line for these children to get out of these cages. How can you love your neighbor as you love yourself? How can you, what are you going to do? You're going to cage your neighbor as you cage yourself? I think it is important that we realize that this is not an isolated incident. You see, injustice for Americans is normal. From slavery to the genocide of Native Americans, to a lack of civil rights for all types of people. You see, this is just a continuation. And so I'm not asking you to be a good American. I'm asking you to be human. You see, so often I read in the scriptures, that which you reap, you sow. I will tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we live under the most evil administration in the history of this country. But I also know that God is not mocked. You reap what you sow. As I think about what this moment looks like for us, I think about what we are called to do. You see, we don't need people who just want to show up at a rally. We don't need people who just want to hold signs. We don't need people who just want to put something on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. What we need is a revolution in this country. We need a revolution of love. And that begins in our hearts. It begins with the question, how far are you willing to go to save these children? What are you willing to give? You see, a revolution requires sacrifice. And I believe that a God of love is calling to us this night. Don't just give words. Give everything you've got. And that, my friends, is the way of love. Amen.
And now we have Nick Hernandez from Raíces. Actually, sorry. I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first. All right, Nick.
Buenas tardes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicolás Hernandez, and I am a proud product of immigrants that came to this country seeking a better life. Can I get a round of applause for my mom and my daddy? I am so happy to see so many people here from the beautiful city of Dallas, right? Dallas is the #1 city in my heart. Dallas is also the #1 city with the most deportations in 2017. 16,520 people were deported out of Dallas alone. 5,000 children are currently in foster care because both parents have been deported. 1,475 children remain lost because of this BS government that we have. This government that continues to oppress people of color. This government, mind you, continues to oppress people of color. We are currently living in the second civil rights era that this United States has seen. And if you're just coming out here to hold a sign, like my good friend just said, that's great. But meet me afterwards and let me know how you can help, coordinate, and participate in what my organization is doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the outreach coordinator for Raíces, or Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services here in Dallas, the largest nonprofit legal service provider in Texas alone. Raíces services so many families, so many children that are in detention centers, that are currently in other cities, that are in captivity. Because there are so many children that are running from violence and crime and rapists and murderers from their home countries. I have personally witnessed hundreds of these children when I've taken their intake and screened them to see what type of relief the United States can give them. These children have told me, I came to this country to work, not to go to school. Because in my country, there is no work. Mind you, this was a 9-year-old child that was telling me this. Ladies and gentlemen, I am disappointed that this government continues to separate families. Raíces continues to be the front leading force to try and let these people know that they have rights, although they don't have papers in this country. A few days ago, there was a huge truck of 50 or more individuals that was stopped in San Antonio. Raíces showed up, and ICE officials refused to let our attorneys go and give these people their rights. Our attorneys are continuing to help as many children as possible, as many kids as possible, as many adults as possible who are running from these violent crimes in Honduras, in El Salvador, in Guatemala, in Mexico, and several other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the separation of families can cause a mental onslaught on these children. They're already running from trauma in their home countries to come here and be terrorized in a cage. If you want to make a difference, if you want to continue supporting our efforts, go to our website, raicestexas.org, and help us represent these children. Just a few weeks ago, the Trump administration blocked a major funder in order for us to represent these children. Raíces said, okay. They put their gloves on, and we started a new fund called the LEAF Fund. The Legal Representation Education Access Fund. It's brand new, that's why I need a little time to figure it out. But this fund will essentially help children being represented in court, because no child should go into court, to immigration court, and be deported because he has absolutely no idea what's going on. If you want to be a volunteer, if you want to stand for immigrants' rights, hell, if you're willing to get arrested, let me know. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Harris. I am here with, thank you. I am here with Code Pink Women for Peace today, but I want to give a shout out to the other groups that I work with that are also here. Veterans for Peace, wave your flag, and the Dallas Peace and Justice Center. Yeah. And I think it's great that so many different people and different groups are all, banding together to, take care of this problem and show the world that we aren't going to put up with it. Solidaridad. I just have a short announcement. I'm also work with the North Texas Light Brigade. And this evening, just as it gets dark, at about 8:45, how many of you have been holders of the light before? I hear some shout-outs there. We're going to spell out, stop tearing families apart in big, bright lights. We have big, bright light birds, and we're going to spell it out. So, yeah. So join us. We can have as many people as we want. We'll have a big photo op. Whoever wants to come is welcome. And just meet us around 8:45 right here. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Williams, and I'm a trauma therapist with a focus on immigration trauma. And most of the time, I work with adults. But not that day. That day, a little girl sat in my counseling office in a chair that was far too big for her. And most of the time, she was completely silent. She would answer my questions in whispered monosyllables. But what I remember most are her eyes, which is a little bit funny because at first I couldn't even see her eyes. She kept them toward the floor. And then she finally lifted her face to look at me, and she had the biggest, most beautiful dark eyes that were filled with more tears than I had ever seen anyone be able to hold. And she finally let them spill. She didn't know where her father was. Somewhere in ICE detention, somewhere out of her reach. There is no question that separating families causes long-term psychological and physical harm. Decades of research will link these kinds of family separations to adverse childhood events, and adverse childhood events. Yes. Adverse childhood events, or ACEs, have been linked by decades of research to impaired neurodevelopment in children. Impaired neurodevelopment that causes long-term cognitive, emotional, and social impairment. And this particular type of adverse childhood event is so stressful that it is included as a toxic stress. Toxic stress has been linked by decades of research to lifelong risk of depression, lifelong risk of PTSD, and lifelong risk of physical impairments like cancer and diabetes and heart disease. The poet Shida told us, no one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. And that little girl in my office that day fled home because gang members had tormented her father, pressed him for money he didn't have, and when he couldn't provide what they wanted, they entered her school and held her brother at gunpoint. They did what any parent would do and fled to the border, and what we gave them was trauma upon trauma. This kind of trauma harms adults too. And when I think of the harm to adults, I remember many, but one woman stands out because she was almost as quiet as that little girl. But when she spoke of suicide. And suicide is not just a risk, it's already real. You may have heard on the news about the Honduran father who committed suicide in ICE detention just this week when his son was ripped from him. We are no longer at risk. We are in the throes of damage. And I'm good. So this brings to another question. And a friend of mine asked me just a few days ago, how could they? And this is a good question because it's not that our official leaders don't know they're causing harm. They don't even claim that they're not causing harm. In fact, if you look at the CDC website, which is a U.S. government website, it talks about adverse childhood events, and it says adverse childhood events are preventable, and we all need to work to prevent them. This information is certainly available to the Department of Justice. But the only way that someone could commit this kind of harmful act on another human being is through another process that the social psychologists have studied for a long time. It's a process of dehumanization that is accomplished through moral shift. Moral shift happens when we begin to redefine who is deserving of our moral treatment. So you've heard our faith leaders say that all faiths have that mandate to treat the vulnerable with respect and kindness and protection. We here have shared values of love and compassion and kindness and humanity and honesty and courage. But what happens with moral shift is that we begin to think that there are contexts in which it's okay not to follow our moral values. That's called moral disengagement. Moral disengagement is the first level of moral shift. The second level of moral shift is victim exclusion. And victim exclusion says, well, there's this group over here, and they don't really deserve to be treated in the same way as the rest of us. For whatever reason it is. And you've heard other speakers talk about the history of ways that we have morally disenfranchised particular groups and treated them with cruelty. That's victim exclusion. The third and worst level of moral shift is moral reversal. Moral reversal says it is a virtue to harm this group because they are a threat to me. And that is what we see today in the way that our leaders are treating families and children at the border and those who have already entered the country and those who want to enter the country. It's moral reversal. It's the idea that it becomes a virtue to hurt the other group. But the good news is there is one more level. And the other level is moral recovery. Moral recovery is a long and complicated process. It takes a lot of time and patience, and I won't tell you all the steps right now. But I'm going to mention 2 of the steps. The first step is deep connection. And deep connection is what we have tonight by coming together, people of different groups, people of different backgrounds. We're here together. We begin the process of a connection here. It's not yet deep connection, but if we continue it, it becomes a deeper connection. And the second one I'll mention, the second step toward moral recovery is active bystandership. Active bystandership happens when we see something wrong and we don't back off and pretend we didn't see it. That's the typical human reaction. There's a lot of research to show that that's just kind of how we normally respond. And it takes courage and it takes will to decide, I'm going to speak now. I'm going to point out that there's something really wrong here. And then we're on the road to moral recovery, and that's what you're doing tonight. Thank you.
So I allowed her to speak so long because I was learning a lot. And I just want to make sure that everybody here knows that on our website, we will have next steps and call to actions. And right now, familiesbelong.org has a thing where it has like 10 different letters from 10 different national organizations that you can sign on to saying, I, X person, agree with this letter, and it's sent to different congresspeople. Also, there's Contact Your Congressman, which is there. Basically on familiesbelong.org, after the rally you can go, and I would love it if tomorrow all of our congresspeople would hear from us saying, we want you, no, we demand that you work tirelessly to pass legislation that protects these children and that does it without hurting anybody else. Because it is one thing to say, we'll protect them, but we want X, Y, Z. No. This is morally and international law enough. So, tomorrow, I would ask that everybody that's here and everybody's in social media, whenever you can, go to familiesbelong.org and fill that out. Also, this Dallas rally, we have a bit.ly that has a Google form where you can put your name, your cell phone, and your email, and then you put what you're interested in helping in, and we will not use your information for anything besides that. My name is Julio Acosta, and I give you my word that we will not use your information for anything besides that, because this is valuable. The fact that you guys are still here in the heat, and please, if there's water, where do we have the water? Right over there. Please, if you need water, please take it. Please. So we're going to keep going, but those are the call to action. That big old Google form, which was not big old, it's name, email, cell phone, and then what it is. But please, because we want to help you find the next step, and we would love to connect you to Raíces and all these other great organizations. So the next person is Paul Zoltan, who is one of my personal living heroes.
Gracias, Julio. I can't believe this is my country. We know precious little about the hundreds of children that have been taken from their parents upon crossing the border. The handlers who accompanied reporters at an abandoned Walmart, repurposed as a baby jail, won't let reporters speak with any of them. But the glimpses we've been allowed are hideous. The Dallas Morning News reported this morning that a suckling baby was pulled, screaming, from his mother's breast. As for the parents separated from their children so they may be criminally prosecuted, what little we've seen or been allowed to see is every bit as awful. Last week, the loss of his children drove one detained father to hang himself. So why is this happening?
so they can criminally prosecute parents for the audacious act of saving their children from murderous gangs that rape, recruit, and kill with impunity. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security says it's because we're a nation of laws. They can present themselves at a port of entry, she insists. Only they can't. Border Patrol officers under her command have stationed themselves on the Mexican side of each international bridge on our southern border. They turn asylum seekers away, saying, "There's no room, wait your turn," leaving refugees to camp out on those bridges under the blazing sun, waiting a turn that may never come. Thus, we are ripping apart these families simply to send a message to mothers and fathers living in the shadow of gangs. That message? Stay. Die. I can't believe this is my country. As a son of a refugee, the welcome he received was always my greatest cause for pride in the land of my birth. As the father of a 7-year-old girl, I have never been more ashamed of the nation that once gave my father refuge. What we are doing to the families who've braved the journey to this land of the free cannot be justified and cannot be tolerated. This barbarity must end. With you who have gathered here today, I have made a decision. I will not, in the words of Zora Neale Hurston, stand aloof in loathing. With you, I will bear witness. With you, I will rage against this injustice. We will prevail. We will be heard. This must end.
And now you see why he is one of my living heroes. So the next person, Sandra Avalos, who's also another one of my living heroes.
Buenas noches. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra Avalos, and I am here with my daughter, Judith. I am originally from Michoacán, Mexico, a little town called Rocupétaro. Don't worry about the pronunciation, it's kind of complicated. But I am here to tell you a little bit about my story. I came in August of 1996. My parents made the decision to bring us here when we were, I was the oldest at the time, I was 7, and we crossed over looking for a better life because Michoacán was not exactly a good area to be in at the time, and still to right now, it's not a good area. Fast forward into now. Originally, I wasn't active. I became active when the DREAM Act came, and I decided to apply for DACA. When I became active, I began to hear more about the stories of the undocumented youth that is still not able to get any protection. And then I also began to hear about laws that come in effect like SB4 or agreements that our representatives have, like the 287G in Tarrant County. I tell you this because those are things that sometimes as a community we're not informed of, and we need to be informed of. For example, last week we were there and we talked about how the 287G is causing us to have mental problems, and so they're asking, well, how is it? I'll tell you how it is. It is because it terrorizes my community. It terrorizes my daughter. How does it terrorize my daughter? My daughter was only 6 years old in kindergarten, pre-K. And she was in the playground with another classmate, and the classmate was like, I'm going to go to Mexico this summer. And she says, but you can't go, because if you go, your parents will not come back. This is another classmate, the same age as her, telling her, if y'all go, y'all not going to come back. She comes home crying, telling me, is that true, Mom? Is that true that if you go, you can't come back? And I had to explain to her at such a young age that it's true. If we go, we cannot come back. And from that moment, I thought about, okay, what? I never thought I was going to have that conversation with her at such a young age. Typically, our parents decide not to have this conversation until we're older and we're trying to get our Social Security number to apply for a job, and then that's when they tell us, you don't have a Social Security number. But here, 5, 6 years old, you having to have this conversation, it's not acceptable. And so, and then the terror that comes after that, they have nightmares. So we're coming back from Huntsville a couple of weeks ago from a little mini vacation we had. And we're talking about the children that at the time we had believed that they would disappear and we don't know where they were. And my daughter tells my friend Angie, that she actually has nightmares about if it were to happen where she will be separated from her parents. And that is a continuous cycle of the terror we continue to have now. Even though she's a U.S. citizen, even though I'm here and now have DACA, it's still there, and we need to fight to protect our children, and we need to continue to fight so that the ones that are here, they are U.S. citizens, they do have the right to be here. I tell you what, I have the right to be here because I've been here since 1996, and this is my home, and this is all I know, and I'm going to continue to be here, and I'm going to continue to fight for our children that are separated from their parents, because if my daughter was to be separated from me, I will go crazy. And that's what we should consider ourselves. If we were to be separated from our children, if we were to be separated from our parents, how would we be? Having a little time outside, having a little time on the a PlayStation is going to make you forget about your parents? No, that is not. Now you're talking about having them in tents outside of the military base? Is that what we have come to as a country? A country that is a welcome for immigrants? That was built by immigrants? We need to continue fighting. We need to join efforts together. We need to come together as the Black community, as the Hispanic community, and Latino community, and the white community. Every community needs to be in here, right now.
Good evening, Dallas. I'm usually the person who comes up and does a big old rally, keep us all going type of time. But I want to tell you tonight, I'm downtrodden. I'm overwhelmed with emotion about what America has come to. I'm overwhelmed by what we are doing to our children. And I'm overwhelmed by the way in which we think that we can just cage people like we do to animals. Not that we should do it to animals, but why on earth are we doing it to our children? Why are we doing it to our children? Shame on us, America. Shame on us. Shame on us. Shame on us. Shame on us. And shame that somebody like Jeff Sessions should stand up in front of the world today and say, this is biblical. What Bible is Jeff Sessions reading? What Bible, what sacred text ever gives somebody like Jeff Sessions to say that this is in the Bible? The immigrant leader of a movement of people who are based around love. Now what this is this is a takeover and a co-option of Christianity in America by misogyny and patriarchy that is just a symptom of what is happening in our country. This is a symptom of something much, much deeper that has been living in this country for a long, long time. And it's time for us to take back America. It's time for us to take back the country of the freedom, of free liberty and happiness for all of God's people, not just for white people. It's time for us to reclaim what it really means to be people of good value and good conscience. I don't care what name you put above your door. This is about people of good conscience who value children. A Jesus who said, "Let the little children come unto me," Jeff Sessions. Let the little children come unto me. This is shameful. It's shameful. It's shameful that we have to be out here in Dallas in over 100-degree heat to protest something that should not be happening in the first place. And it's shameful that children will have to grow up. Some who will never be reunited with their families again because they are lost. I have a colleague right now, Reverend Todd Atkins Whitley, who is right on the border right now with these children, holding them in their despair and in their distrust of whatever has happened to their families and wondering where they are. Shame on America. This is terrorism. Terrorism. Let's call it what it is. It's domestic terrorism. And it's illegal. It's illegal. I call upon us this night not just to hold our signs, not just to stand with our indignatious righteousness, but to get out there and do something. So let's make the America we know it is. Let's make the faith that we believe in what it's supposed to be. It's a ministry and a gospel of love, and love will always win if we continue to love. Thank you, Dallas, for coming out this evening.
Thank you so much. So what I'm doing right now is on the Google form. I'm going to go ahead and add that we're planning an action at Senator Cornyn's and Senator Cruz's office. So if you're interested in helping with that action at these our representatives.
How many people are here ready to go march on the offices of Senator Cornyn? Raise your hand. How many people are here ready to march on the offices of Senator Ted Cruz? How many people will promise to bring 5 people and 10 people, 20 people, so that we have a multitude of people at the offices of Senator Cruz and Senator Cornyn? Raise your hand and say, "Hey!" Raise your hand and say, "Hey!" Raise your hand and say, "Hey!"
Okay, so now we have Edwin Murillo speaking. There he is.
Buenas tardes para todos, mi nombre es Edwin Murillo, represento a la Alianza Nacional del TPS, National TPS Alliance. Como está escrito en el libro, Satanás vino solamente a robar, matar y destruir, a robar la inocencia de unos pequeñitos que sin haber cometido ningún crimen ahora son prisioneros en las cárceles de ICE. A su temprana edad han tenido que luchar en contra de la soledad y el abandono. También vino a destruir sus sueños por los cuales ellos han llegado a este país huyendo de la violencia. Destruyó el amor de los padres hacia los hijos, separando las familias en las fronteras. También vino a matar, a destruir la esperanza de un futuro mejor y digno al cual todo ser humano tiene derecho, porque en este mundo ningún ser humano es ilegal. ¿Qué haremos nosotros ante la tiranía? Tendremos nuestro puño levantado en señal de resistencia y le haremos saber que nuestras trincheras serán las calles y los espacios públicos donde lucharemos y alzaremos la voz por aquellos que no la tienen. También dejaremos atrás todo lo que nos han querido imponer y les haremos saber que hoy más que nunca lucharemos y pelearemos hasta el día en que ninguna familia sea separada, porque las familias necesitan estar unidas. Yo voy a hacer pasar a mi familia para que ustedes vean. Voy a hacer pasar, ella es mi hija Ariel. Mi hija Ariel tiene solamente 5 años. Mi hija Suri solamente tiene 11 años. Mi esposa y yo somos beneficiarios del TPS. Somos salvadoreños. En 2019, nuestro permiso de trabajo se vence en septiembre. Mi familia también está en riesgo de deportación por la tiranía y la crueldad de personajes que hacen dueño a un país que no es de ellos, porque este país es de todos nosotros. Este país no le corresponde solo a unos cuantos personajes. Este país es de inmigrantes que se levantaron para luchar por esta gran nación, y así seguiremos luchando hasta que todas las familias estén reunidas. Muchas gracias.
So my name is Edwin Murillo. I am a member of the National TPS Alliance. No human being is illegal, and what we do in front of tyranny matters. Our trenches will be, we will raise our voices and we will raise our hands, and we will leave behind what they have tried to impose on us. So in respect and in unity, we will raise our hands and we will say, we will fight for all of this. We will fight. 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 Thank you all so much. And I went ahead and on the Bitly, I added, or the Google form, I added TPS, or people that want to help with the temporary protected status. Many of them, they have been here for 20 years. 20 years. More than 20 years. They've been paying their taxes. Every 2 or 3 years when they renew their TPS, they go through a background check. So these people, the people that have temporary protected status, are probably some of the most vetted human beings walking around in the United States of America. And now the current administration has taken away their temporary protected status and saying, you have to go back. So if you're interested in helping with that, I went ahead and added it on the Google form. That's going to be the main way that whatever you want to help with, we'll connect you to those organizations that are doing that. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. And now we have Joaquin Godinez from TPS Camino de la Residencia. I'll let him talk in Spanish and I'll translate the gist in English as best as I can.
Ok, tengan todos muy buenas tardes. Saludos a todos, cada uno, y gracias por venir a cada familia que está unida. Porque muchas familias ahorita están siendo separadas por la injusticia. Yo me recuerdo que llegué hace 23 años, tengo un TPS igual que mi compatriota Edwin Murillo con su familia. Y estoy en la misma cuerda floja. Y yo creo que mis hijos son ciudadanos americanos como los de ella. Pero es duro solo pensar de irse y separarlo y luego a un país que ya mis hijos no lo conocen. Ahora, vamos a lo siguiente, que seamos separados, yo creo que es inhumano con un país que tiene los principios fundados en la familia. Y estamos no de ninguna manera de acuerdo que hasta los mismos legisladores saben de que están equivocados. Y están equivocados porque saben de que la familia es el principio de lo que mantiene a este país fuerte, la unión y la fuerza. Así es de que una oración por favor para todos esos niños que están siendo separados inhumanamente, ¿verdad? Así es de que por favor oremos, oremos y oremos, porque también cambien la mentalidad chueca que están teniendo muchos gobernadores que se están viniendo en contra de nuestras familias que venimos solo a luchar y a trabajar, por gente honesta, trabajadora, que no tenemos por qué estar. Bueno, estamos pidiendo, estamos queriendo hacer paz en otro país, pero no tenemos paz ni en la misma casa, señores. Que allá andan con un fulanito por ahí haciendo la paz, pero aquí no puede conseguirnos la paz a nosotros, estamos mal, ¿verdad? Así es de que, señores, oremos por estos muchachos, por las familias y por las comunidades que están siendo afectadas el día de ahora. Pasen muy buenas tardes.
The webpage is familiesbelong.org, and then on the Facebook event, and actually, do we have those little cards that we can hand out? I don't know if they're under that class. Anybody know, do you see little cards? If I can have anyone from the planning committee look for the cards, and we should hand these out actually right now as we speak. So if everybody could help me, like, just pass them out, or if we could get a number of, like, 10 volunteers, just to make sure that you have these. These are next action steps cards.
which we will also have on the Facebook event page. That's going to be the best way to contact us. If any of the bit.ly or anything else is beyond, please, on the Facebook event page, comment, or to DFW Líderes, you can send a message, or if you want to send a Gmail, to dfwlideres@gmail.com. Anything that works like that, or whatever works, feel free to contact us if you want to help in some way. So.
And then another thing, everyone that's doing Facebook Live, if you can put your live on, share it, ask people to share it. We need to get huge numbers of people. We need to become active. We need to be proactive daily. So put your photos on Facebook, share it, talk to people about what is happening in Brownsville, what we can do, how we're going to change the narrative, how we're going to get involved, and how we're going to change the future of America. That's the way we're going to do it. Share, 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 and not be afraid. Thank you very much to all the people who've come here. If we haven't said thank you very much, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So what Joaquin Godinez said from TPS Community Residencia, we have to pray for change, and we are demanding for change. We're looking for peace in other places, and we haven't even found peace in our own home. So we need to find peace, and I'm going to add something. Beyond praying, we also have to do. All of us have to do, and that's why those calls to action from familiesbelong.org, and then to follow up on the event page and with the bit.ly, those are the call to actions. And then tomorrow, again, let's call our Congress people to let them know what we think about them breaking international law. So the next person, Daniel from Coalición. Round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Buenas tardes a todos. In the mornings, when I wake up, I want to saw humans. I want to see humans. En las mañanas cuando despierto, solo quiero ver humanos. Pero también quiero ver humanidad. Quiero ver humanidad en los corazones de todas las personas que no vinieron aquí, que no están aquí, porque todos los que están aquí tienen más humanidad que muchos que dicen defender a la familia, porque la familia es lo más sagrado que puede tener el ser humano. Defendiendo a la familia quiere decir que es mantenerlas unidas, mantener a sus hijos con sus padres como debe ser, como yo estuve con mis padres y como quisiera que estuvieran los hijos que llegase a tener conmigo. Porque la familia deben estar unidas, deben estar juntas hasta que todos sabemos nos toque partir a otro lugar, a un lugar que todos sabemos ya no hay retorno. Pero mientras tanto, las familias merecen estar juntas. Gracias.
So that was Daniel from Coalición. If you guys want to follow them on Facebook, it's Coalición de Líderes del Metroplex. It's who they are. Basically, I wake up every morning and I see humans, but I want to see humanity. I want people to defend families, and defending families means keep them united. Like I was with my father growing up, and how I want my children to be. Families need to be united, and families need to be united until we depart to the next place. Just a general gist of what he said. Thank you. So now it's another one of my living heroes, Summer Gonzalez.
Buenas tardes. Okay, are you ready? No más. No más. No más. No más. No más. No más. Our community has received multiple reports stating that ICE is tearing, and Border Patrol agents have been tearing babies from their mothers. Okay, children have been run over, punched, sexually abused when they're at the border or in detention. Some of these federal law enforcement officials cannot be trusted with the care of our children. We already know this, okay? ACLU has 30,000 pages. 30,000 pages that were produced of a FOIA, that you have to do a federal inquiry, it's called a FOIA. When they did a FOIA request, they got 30,000 pages of this type of behavior from ICE and CBP against children. Our children, nobody's children belongs in ICE custody or Border Patrol custody. Currently, 11,200 immigrant children are in the custody of refugee resettlement. 11,200 children. 11,200 children. We cannot even fund our schools in McKinney. We cannot fund our schools in Dallas. We cannot fund our schools in the Valley. But we're paying $770,000 to a CEO to hold children away from their parents. That's one facility. That's one salary. That's where our tax dollars are going. I say, no más. No más. No más. We want the administration to know that we believe strongly that children belong with their families, in the community or where advocates can ensure their safety. LULAC shall not rest until these children are reunited with their families and advocates are provided to guarantee their safety and access to fair immigration court process. We will fight vigorously the use of separation as a form of persecution. They're chasing us. They're trying to traumatize us as they always have. They're trying to use our children against us. They're ripping them from our arms. How many of you feel pain when you see this? Why? Because it's happened in the past. Because we feel what our ancestors went through. And we know that this continues to happen. And we won't stand for it. I won't stand for it not one more day. No. We will go to Brownsville. We will march on these facilities. And we will call you to shut them down. No more! No more!
So by coming here this evening, you all made a choice to be part of something bigger than yourselves. And what brought us here today is a moral agreement between all of us. And that moral agreement is that it is wrong to rip children away from their families and imprison them. That agreement is ripping children away from their families. And sadly, many people in this nation seek to justify it as keeping our country safe. We all know that's BS. That's right, whoever said it in the back. This situation happening across our southern border in Brownsville, in McAllen, in El Paso, and at port of entries and in between port of entries all across our border is cause for outrage. The kind of outrage that you can feel coursing through your body. And I ask you, feel that outrage. Let it consume you, but do not let it drive you into despair and to hopelessness. Let it drive you into action. Let it drive you into action. Let it drive you to continue to educate yourself about the legislation and about what is happening. Let it drive you to give to worthy causes that are fighting for these children and their families. Let it drive you to call and write your elected officials and hold them accountable. They do not have the right to be complacent. Let it drive you to organize 10, 20, 100 of your friends and stand outside their offices and scream and demand that they do something to stop this. And let it drive you to vote. Let it drive you to vote. Because our vote is our voice. And if we do not use our voice, then we are complicit. It is up to us to stand up, to join together, to unite every day, taking action. And I know we can count on all of you to continue to join us. Use your call to action card. There's lots of great resources. There's no reason for today to be your last action. Thank you.
Also, I do want to remind anyone and thank Battleground Texas. They're over here registering people to vote. So if you have moved recently or if you've never registered to vote, no harm, no foul. You can do it now. You can do it now, and definitely everyone make sure to go vote in November. Incredibly important election. Incredibly important.
Hello, my name is Asad Shalmi. I'm with Dallas Palestine Coalition. All right, I'm here to inform you that there's a huge correlation between what's happening here and what has been happening in Palestine for decades. Both systems supported by our tax dollars. Brothers and sisters, the Nazis who would like to transform this country into a white supremacist nation look no further than the racist, fascist, apartheid state of Israel as a perfect model. Not only we have been conditioned to not question the free flow of our tax dollars in support of the genocide of the Palestinians, we have also been brainwashed into believing that Israel can do no wrong. And if Israel can do it, why can't we here? If Israel profiles its brown and black people, then we can do it here. If Israel calls refugees seeking asylum infiltrators, imprisons them in abysmal conditions in the middle of the desert, and deports them, then we can call refugees and asylum seekers gang members, rapists, and killers, violently arrest them, and deport them. If Israel breaks down doors and violently arrests Palestinian children in the middle of the night and rips them from their parents to detain, abuse, and try them in military tribunals, then we can rip refugee children from their parents as they cross into our borders seeking asylum. If Israel shoots at unarmed protesters, killing 129 and wounding over 10,000, including children, journalists, and medics, then we can suppress protest and the press in this country. Not only our government emulates all the heinous characteristics of the racist Zionist regime, we send thousands of our military and law enforcement agents to be trained by one of the worst and most durable human rights abusers in the world, for the simple reason that they have perfected their barbaric methods on the people of Palestine for decades. We see the results of these deadly exchanges when these agents come home, from profiling black and brown bodies to shooting first and asking questions later when it comes to dealing with minorities, to shooting at asylum seekers as they cross into our borders, or detaining them in abhorrent conditions and separating children from parents and placing them in cages. Brothers and sisters, the system that has come into fruition under Cheeto in the White House has been simply transplanted from the only nuclear-armed racist settler colonial state in the Middle East. This racist fascist system has been ethnically cleansing and oppressing Palestinians for decades, and now we are tasting it here. So I'm here to inform you that for black and brown bodies, our struggle is the same here as in Palestine. The children of Palestine and the resilient Palestinian people feel your pain and empathize with you immensely. We stand in solidarity with all the families and children impacted by this barbaric policy of separation. Nos solidarizamos con todas las familias y niños afectados por esta política bárbara de separación. Muchas gracias.
So I want to remind everyone that 8:45 tonight, the all Texas live again is going to have an we're going to meet here. We're going to do one of those 10 or, we need like 10 or 15 people just to hold the signs so that the photographer can take the picture. Also, the Google form, I've updated it, and it now includes if you want to help with the Help Keep Families Together, or if you want to help the Dreamers with their DREAM Act, if you want to help with immigration reform, if you want to help with the Congress People Actions, if you want to help with TPS, or now we're going to hear about an action to Brownsville. So I'm going to pass it to Summer.
Okay, so y'all heard Peter Johnson speak earlier, Reverend Peter Johnson. We're going to take a group of people and we're going to go visit the facility in Brownsville. We're going to go protest outside, some kind of action like that. Peter let me know that he's going to be updating me Monday after they meet.
and then we'll I want you guys to, I guess, just register whoever wants to go, and we actually have somebody willing to sponsor transportation to get down there, whether that's airfare or a bus, so it's going to be both. And by all of you, please figure out how to get on Julio's Google Doc. He's very savvy. I would like to welcome him to LULAC 102 as our official organizer. Welcome. It starts tomorrow morning. So please, all of you, find out who this guy is. Get on whatever bus he's riding. Let's all work together. We can bring this thing down.
Yeah!
So now it's Deborah, who's another one of my living heroes.
Hey guys! Chicana power right here. Okay, so there's an advantage of being one of the last speakers because everybody's already said everything I was going to say. So the only thing that, that I really wanted to say was that we're not criminals. We're not criminals. The indigenous people of this land are not criminals. Okay? The real criminals came in 1432. Those are the real criminals that came over here and took and robbed our land, the land that we cultivated with our hands. Those are the immigrants. Those are the illegals. Okay? So while they're sitting there talking about that imaginary line in the sand, I could give a shit about that imaginary line in the sand. Okay? The line that we need to be really looking out for is the line that we cross. Are you with us or are you against us? That's it. Okay? Well, thank you for coming out. Short and sweet. That's how I like it. Chicana power!
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Margarita Álvarez. Tengo 28 años de vivir en los Estados Unidos. Nunca aprendí inglés porque mi esperanza era traer a mis hijos, porque ellos sí se separaron de mí desde muy chicos y se criaron solos. Eso es lo que vengo ahora a decir. No dejemos separar a las familias, porque llevo en el corazón un dolor tremendo. Cuando yo llamaba a mis hijos y me decían, madre, ¿cuándo vienes por mí? Y nunca pude llegar por ellos, porque la migración me decía que teníamos que llenar unos requisitos y que yo tenía que pagar o ganar de $50,000 a $70,000 al mes. Si soy una pobre obrera, una pobre housekeeper, una mujer que tiene que tener 2 trabajos para poder mantener a mi familia en Guatemala. Soy de Guatemala. Y por eso es que estoy ahora. Porque yo no vi crecer a mis hijos. Porque yo no dejé que mis hijos llegaran a una cárcel. Porque qué más cárcel y qué más muro el que nos han puesto es dividiéndonos. Ese es el verdadero muro, la división de la familia, las creencias, los mitos de que somos prostitutas, que somos criminales. No, señor. No, señor. Yo soy una madre que llevo en el corazón el dolor de mi hijo cuando aquella tarde me dijo, madre, no te vayas. Eso es separar a las familias, eso es poner los muros a la humanidad. Por eso hoy estoy acá con todo el dolor de esas personas que creen que van a separar a los niños, pero no los van a separar, los van a unificar, les van a hacer amor verdadero, porque separar a los hijos de una madre es mejor abortarlos y no parirlos en una desgracia como la que estamos viviendo ahora. Así, señores, jóvenes norteamericanos están muy mal informados acerca de nuestras vidas. Nosotros no venimos por criminales. No, los criminales han llegado a nuestros países a robarnos la felicidad. Por eso estamos aquí, porque nosotros siempre hemos sido los que hemos mantenido una sociedad. Y lo digo con orgullo, porque no tendré un título universitario, pero tengo mi mirada al frente y digo, si papeles he de levantar para tener a mis hijos, eso lo voy a hacer. Así, madres de familia, no desesperen, no caigamos, no lloremos, y si lloramos, levantémonos, limpiémonos esas lágrimas y sigamos adelante. Muchísimas gracias.
And now you know why we leave her till the end, because to follow that is very tough. But I'll just translate a gist of, I won't give it justice, but...
Before you leave, we need everybody's help to pick up the bottles so that we can leave Dallas City Hall clean. So please, don't forget to leave this place clean so that they say, protesters, look at the mess that they did. So please, help us make this clean after the event.
So I'm a housekeeper and I need 2 jobs. I am from Guatemala. I did not see my children grow up. Division is the real wall. The must-have that, the myth that we are criminals. I am not a criminal. I am a mother. I am a mother that has the pain of knowing that my child was telling, mother, don't leave. I am here, and separating children is horrible. Young people, North Americans or Americans, I may not have a university degree, but I am strong. And mothers, let us not cry. Let us not only cry. Let us raise ourselves high. Let us raise ourselves proud. I didn't give it justice, but that's the gist. I apologize. That wasn't. And now, I want to let a young person speak from his heart.
My name is Nick. My name is Nicolas Quintanilla. I am a child. Every morning when I wake up, I get to have a conversation with my father. I get to have a conversation with my mother. I get to tell my mother how much I love her. I get to tell my mother how much I appreciate what she has done for me and my siblings. But there are children in Casa Padre, Brownsville, who are being held, who are being treated like dogs, who are being treated like animals. Today we stand to demand that ICE set those children free and reunite them with their families. Thank you.
So it is 7:58, and we said we were going to finish at 8. And I just cannot thank you all so much. I cannot thank you enough. But this is not the end. This is a continuation of a fight, of a struggle that has been going on for centuries. So please, follow up on our Facebook event page if you have any questions, any concerns. If you want to know how to get connected to any of these wonderful, amazing people, please reach out to us. And if you want to sign up for more information on the trip to Brownsville or to TPS or to get connected to the Dreamers or to get connected to anything, my name is Julio Acosta, and I commit, you have my word that we will not share your document with anyone that is beyond the people that are actually doing this. So, okay, one more thing.
Can we get everybody together here? We're going to put our hands together so we can say a prayer for the children. Can everybody come up here close? Everybody come here close, and we're going to put our hands together and we're going to pray for these children. Everybody, come on. You can say.
Okay. Here we go. You can just, if you're on the outside, you can put your hand kind of like forward, and then you can like put it in this direction. But we understand that there are many people here. You are on the shoulder, yes. We understand that there are many people here from many different backgrounds. We understand that there are people that have different faiths, different beliefs. But we know that we are all human. We know that the children that are being detained, that are being imprisoned, are human beings. And we commit ourselves to not stop,
to not stop until they are free. We ask whatever we believe in to give us the strength, the wisdom, and the courage to do what is needed, not for us, but for them. We're doing this all for the children. And then after we help those children, we will see how we can help others. But I just thank everyone here from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for your hearts. And I know that this is not the end. This is not the end. This is only a second beginning or a third beginning. But we need all of your help. Even if it's only an hour a day, if it's only an hour a week or an hour a month, whatever you're able to offer. If you're a graphic designer, if you're anything you can offer, just contact us and please. But at the end of the day, Lord, I will pray in the name that I know, and Lord, just help us and guide us and give us wisdom. And then let's say for the children, let's end with, I'll say 1, 2, 3, and then we'll yell.
Queremos también decirlo en español. Queremos mandar un mensaje a los niños que están en Casa Broadway, que Casa Padre no están solos. Queremos mandar un mensaje a los padres de los niños en Casa Padre que no están solos. Que nosotros aquí en Dallas, Texas, mandamos mucho amor, mucho cariño y muchas bendiciones. Que nosotros vamos a luchar por esos niños hasta que ellos estén libres. Que nosotros vamos a luchar por los padres que están encarcelados bajo de inmigración. Le pedimos a Dios que nos dé todas las fuerzas, todas las energías, todas las bendiciones, todo el poder para luchar cada día, cada momento para estos niños. No los vamos a dejar solos, nunca, jamás. Estos niños son nuestros niños. Estos niños son niños de Dios y nosotros vamos a luchar por esos niños. Y a esta reunión le queremos dar las gracias a todos. Le queremos dar las gracias a todas las personas que vinieron aquí, a los organizadores, a la prensa, a las personas que pueden mandar este mensaje, que estos niños no están solos, que Dios los bendiga, vamos a luchar por ellos.
So when I say 1, 2, 3, we'll say for the children. 1, 2, 3, for the children! All right, thank you all so very much for coming out. Follow us there. And thank you to the planning committee, Summer Gonzalez, Deborah, Ashley, everyone. Thank you all so much. And just remember to take up your trash and please put it in a trash receptacle, please. And for anyone that's North Texas Light Brigade that would like to stay, we're going to be here, okay? Oh, did you want to...
I just wanted to point out for everybody real quick, we are over here today with the Beto campaign as well. He's the congressman from El Paso. He's done a lot on this immigration issue. Yeah, that should be much better. If you're anybody who's looking to volunteer with the Beto campaign, he's doing an entirely grassroots campaign, so we're up here getting commitments to vote, signing up volunteers. So if that's something that interests you to be active with this, please stop by and see us.
No se olviden, también hay voluntarios para la campaña de Beto O'Rourke, para congresistas, para derrotar a Senator Ted Cruz. Please support Beto O'Rourke for Senate, United States Senate, and please sign up here, please. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, ODTV. We're going to hang around and bring the Light Brigade to the video. It should only be about 20 more minutes. We're going to pause and let this video process so it can be uploaded and delete it from the device and not take up space. Yeah.